And now I'm going to put a trigger warning, because Matt Rife has entered the conversation. Matt Rife has started shooting his mouth off. The recent way he's spoken to and about the side-eye guy and Jordan, has he just warned me off here? Is this him threatening me? Beaters, widows, balls and ghouls, how you all doing? I know, looks a little different. Studio's getting ripped out and we're putting everything back in but repainted and reorganised. It's a nightmare. So today I'm going to be talking about Matt Rife and Elton Casties. Now, I've genuinely had concerns about putting this out for numerous reasons. One of the big ones being is the way Elton has behaved to Jordan, somebody that he likes and trusts. And there's also been this sort of underlying threat from Elton that he has power at YouTube, that he has some sort of person in the top wings of YouTube that can do some damage to people. I don't know how true that is. I don't care how true that is, to be honest. If he wants to get that petty, then it is what it is. And the truth will never stop me, no matter how much damage it does to me. I have picked some massive fights and it has bit me on the ass numerous times, but it'll never ever stop me. Elton Casties runs Overnight, as well as Overnight. He had a show called TFIL that my daughter used to watch and I hated it. Too much energy for me. I'm old. It was just a personal thing. You know, your kids watch something, you inherently hate it. And then I did a video on Overnight and the Twins years ago, and my daughter had to go with me because she was an Elton and Corey fan. I was like, alright, I didn't realise that it was those guys that used to like do soft play centres overnight, and I didn't realise that it was the same kids. I think they were kids back then. I don't know. To cut the long story short, I've done 2-3 videos on Overnight. I've done a lot on the Warrens, and I've done 1 or 2 on the Warren house under the ownership of Elton Casties and Matt Rife. First time was the price hikes and the cost and how can anyone afford that? And it's gone up even more, which is, if you want a deeper dive into that, the Cider Guy's just done a video on haunted location owners. Go check that out. But at the beginning of this year, there was the whole thing with Frankie the Pomeranian and Bad to the Bone mouthing off. And at one point, they brought up Elton Casties' name like they were helping him and they were getting help from him. And all of us that were getting sort of smashed with these privacy claims and takedowns and just the most horrendous cowardly behaviour from people were like, is Elton actually something to do with this? Or are they just throwing his name out there? Or are they trying to get on the right side of him? And there was a group of us that were all involved, all discussing it, and I was like, screw it. Elton's emailed me before, because when I did my video on the price hikes, and then I was like, it's this expensive, yet I don't see any videos coming from there, and when I do, the views ain't where people would expect them to be. Elton emailed me, and he was like, listen, if you've got questions about the house and the price and all of this sort of stuff, breakdowns, just ask me. I'm an open book. I can be a dick, but I'm an open book of a dick. And I was like, right, cool. I can relate. I'm kind of similar. You know, sometimes I piss the bankers off. Sometimes I piss off my own community. I get it. And it was kind of friendly, you know? He was like, do cool shit, make memories, and meet great people and stuff. I was like, alright, fair enough. So, because I had that sort of open line of communication with him back in January, just before it all blew up, I sent him an email. Elton, not sure if you're aware, there's a shit ton of drama in the smaller communities, and your name is being thrown around by people on live streams, and then the streams being pulled down. It looks like people are trying to implicate you in all this privacy takedown shit from a bunch of nobodies on the internet. The type that get drunk and high and stream and dox people, etc. You know, blackmail and all that nasty stuff at the beginning of the year. Initially I thought they may be doing this on your behalf, but that makes little sense. What does make sense is throw Elton's name around for clout and maybe he will let us have the doll or be a ticket vendor for it. I'm a dick and I know it, but I don't think this conspiracy goes that deep. I think smaller creators than me are trying to make it seem that way for clout and get in your good graces. Recently this has escalated into people being doxed and blackmailed. I just thought you should know before more people join the dots and get lost like I did. Or 2 + 2 = massive YouTuber. So Elton emailed me back. This was in February then. I've actually brought this up with Jordan about a week ago because I saw his post about it. I've offered to help and he never sent me an email. Obviously I'm not involved in anyone's petty bullshit, nor would I condone anyone that does it. This stuff happened to me by the Sam and Colby superfans years back, and I almost destroyed my YouTube career with every video being flagged. Tell Jordan to email the problem to me, lol. And then he sent me screenshots of his conversation with Jordan, and Jordan not responding, but this is obviously before they'd worked together and all of the recent drama. So I was like, I really speak to Jordan, if I'm honest, and I didn't then. I've had Jordan's back in regards to the call me ow idiot and a few other things, and Jordan in turn has had my back quite a few times. I've got a lot of time for the guy that I used to call a kid, and then I realised he was 30 this year. 30. He looks like a child. No offence intended. Elton, I can be a knob at times, but I'm sorry I've assumed the worst of you based off what little shit-stirring YouTubers are doing. Unfortunately, I bought into this conspiracy shit, and I shouldn't have. Now, I'm being underhanded here. I'm trying to gain something from Elton or wait for him to slip up, and he doesn't. He responds with, all good, everyone does it, unfortunate, but that's what the internet does to people. I'll follow up with Jordan, no offence to you, but I've met him and trusted him, so I'll take his word on what he writes to me in an email. If I hit up my rep and the info is bullshit or exaggerated, it's not good for anyone. And I responded with, fair enough, I'm trying to get my hands on the clips, I'll send them over. I'm not asking you to like or trust me, I'm just concerned all this shit will end up in court or more because of doxing. And I've been doxed and threatened enough. I didn't even know who these people were. That's on about Frankie the Pooch. So Elton responds with, I don't think clips matter, I just need a written explanation of what's happening in detail with links to channels, dates, etc. So I put, okay, there are smarter people than me putting all of this together. Good luck with it all. Sorry I dragged you into this shit. I wish I kept my nose out. I sent him a Google link, a file sharing link, where there was videos from our side, their side, and all of that. And Elton responds with, yo, telling you right now, no shot in hell is YouTube helping you if your first sentence is accusing the platform of a conspiracy against you, which is something I think we all did at some point, and I'm like, damn, the man's got a point. That makes perfect sense to me. Literally no point me even reading the rest if I know you are automatically pissing off the people you want to help you. Keep it to the facts. Do not include conspiracy. You were literally doing the exact thing you were trying to stop others doing, claiming that they are. Someone at YouTube is helping people harass us and has been targeting and pulling down videos from the side-eye guy. Now, that was a claim not made by me. That was somebody else at some point. I can't remember who. I responded to Elton with, I didn't write that, but I'll pass it along to the group. And then I was like, in fact, I'm tapping out. Everyone can do it themselves. And at this point, I'm like, I'm done with this. I've had my channel hacked. I've had, 2 channels literally take down my channel. I was 7 days away from not having any YouTube channels, and I was like, I don't know if I can take another fight this big. And this is the period where I started releasing videos that really didn't do well, because I was like, let's just be funny and do animations of ghosts with Lemon Pledge and stuff. Sultan responds with, tell them to calm down, make it professional. Aggressiveness is not getting them to want to help you and indicates a sense of dramatization, which means not sincere. I went through all this with them for a year, trust me, trying to help. And I'm like, this guy isn't what I thought he was. He seems to be giving decent advice here. So I appreciated it. Sent him a link to something that was less inflammatory. Even though I wanted nothing to do with it, I was being asked for help from other channels, and I try to help people where I can. So Elton responds, okay, I'm going to drastically compress this down to key information, as no YouTube rep will be able to understand this. Even this is extremely difficult for me to understand. If I'm getting this right, all I really need to know, I'll fill in the details. I'll do this because I like Jordan. Otherwise, I'd just make you guys do it. Because Jordan was getting slapped around by idiots as well. And then key people abusing the copyright claim reporting flagging system. These people have expressed publicly they're taking such actions to do so and will continue to do so. We are asking if someone could take a look into the reports, triggering these claims and repercussions for the channels, from same accounts, timeframes, locations, other matching information to demonstrate that this is an intentional misuse of the system. That's correct. He asked me if that's correct. The Google Doc is just madness. There are YouTube reps that are managing hundreds of creators per person, so their time is extremely valuable. This might also be why if these creators are trying to reach out to help themselves, they aren't getting responses. Basically, we were overloading an overworked workforce with our complaints. They need to phrase things like, someone who knows nothing can understand what's happening and be able to figure it out in 30 seconds. YouTube drama is extremely common. You don't say. And then this was hilarious. P.S. Isn't Side-Eye Guy the one who tried saying I used CGI or special effects in an investigation video I made 3 years ago because a ball rolled down the stairs? And he was adamant I hired an SFX artist, even though it was literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard from anyone ever. I just remember that now, and I'm laughing so hard at someone who's sincerely trying to pitch that was a debunking, not trying to start drama. I just recall that and it makes me laugh. And then I respond with, I don't think that was the Side-Eye Guy. If it was you in Twin Paranormal with balls on the stairs, that was me 3 years ago or so. And it was masking that I mentioned, if that's what you mean by special effects. And Elton responds with, no further comment. I emailed my YouTube rep to see if I can help. We'll keep you posted. I said, right, I've removed all of my shit on all of them, as in all the stuff with Frankie and Bad to the Bone and that. I just took all the videos down because I didn't want the privacy problems. And I was arguing with nobodies, and it's like, while I want to help my friends, they were pulling videos, so I'm like, I'll just pull everything. They're sending out fake legal documents to try and win copyright. I don't want to win an argument with a bunch of nobodies and liars that bad. And then I didn't hear anything between February and then June the 18th. And this is messed up. Because he's like, if this is your page, and I assume it is, thank you. I haven't said anything publicly about anything, but you understand the simple logic. Glad to know you also see the barn fire, boycott, Conjuring House and ankle popping bullshit. That timeline is insane, and also you're probably missing a few components, maybe not. Hope you got your YouTube issues fixed, and then this. Now that's my Facebook account, my Facebook page, but then I didn't write this. When you look at this topic on both sides, you see on one side normal business maneuvers, and on the other side you see people doing videos trashing a psychotic Greek woman begging and weaponizing their fan base to boycott a business and other non-business forward behaviour. And I'm like, what? In Jason's latest video crying about the trademark situation, Jason comments he doesn't see a connection between the trademark and the Conjuring House. He sees no connection and no reason why they would have to apply for it. Yet we see inside the Conjuring House there's a replica of the Annabelle that has nothing to do with the Conjuring House. Another man in our community too dense to connect the dots. Does this sound like something I would put out there about my friend? Because Jason Hawes is an in real life friend now. While we live in different continents, we speak on a weekly basis, and very rarely about the paranormal or this conjuring shite. I'm pretty sure Jason speaks to me because I don't grill him or question him about it. If he wants to talk about it, he can, but for the most part, we talk about family and, normal world stuff. Hope your take on this involves all of this, because I'm researching this very actively right now, and there is a lot of disturbing information on my timeline, and the catalyst seems to be around the time of the barn fire. I'm eagerly awaiting your video. Why would I put a comment out like that, eagerly awaiting my own video, and it's cropped to not show who actually sent this? This was a viewer comment. This was somebody defending Rife and Casties because I put out a post saying I support Jason Hawes. I support the Conjuring House. I want Jason to go to the Conjuring House because the behaviour of the other side is... And I'm like, has Elton misunderstood this because somebody has sent it to him and cropped it? Or has he cropped it and then sent it to me? But this bit... Anyway, hope your YouTube issues got fixed. And I'm like... The recent way he's spoken to and about the Side-Eye Guy and Jordan, has he just warned me off here? Is this him threatening me? Like, crop a post so it looks like I have slated my friend, remove the original creator's or the original commenter's name from it, and then anyway, hope YouTube issues got fixed. But if he's paid any attention, he'll know it hasn't. And this is a draft. I never ended up sending it, as you can see by the send there. Elton, I know you've got a lot of shit coming your way, and you've brought that on yourself. You're so angry lately. Not that funny guy my daughter used to watch. I'm not in your world, so I'll say it as it is. You never came across as short-tempered or nasty before. Lately, a little bit less. I try not to be a dick, but you know me for honesty. But I get it. Money, court cases... And I ain't going to work you for info. For clarity, I support Hawes. That man has checked up on my family for nothing in return for over a year. And I called his kid and his best friend out. That screenshot you sent me, that ain't my comment. That is a comment from a fan of yours on my rant about where the house should go. You pride yourselves on being honest and blunt. I don't support this conjuring shit. I don't support you. You have been okay with me as a guy on the other side. I was going to send this in response, because I'm like, well, fucking draw a line clearly in the sand. And then I'm like, am I getting lured in here? Have I just been threatened with, I hope your channel is fine, the way the thing's cropped? I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say a word and see what else unfolds from this, because if he's got it in for me, I'll hear from him again. But he went after Jordan and all of that mess. And it's got to be said that from the outside looking, I've put it in there, it looks like Elton is losing the plot. He's always been this happy-go-lucky, matter-of-fact guy. Even when him and Corey fell out, he wasn't angry. He was just like, right, here's the receipts. Receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt. And I paid no attention for the most part because I don't care. It didn't involve ghosts. It was two fake ghost hunters arguing over money. I'm like, that's so far beyond my realm. I don't care. And it looked like Elton was telling the truth. It looked like Elton had been paying this guy and this guy was saying he hadn't been paid. Or I only watched Jordan's content on it because, you know, I got a lot of time for the guy. So there's been loads of back and forths on Facebook, YouTube. Recently, Tony Spira has just gone on a rampage about debunkers or skeptics even, and how people should stop tarnishing the good name of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And I did a video that you can see on this channel, but I also posted it on Facebook. I don't normally put long form videos on Facebook, but I did it just to get Tony's attention because the guy is talking out of his ass. And now I'm going to put a trigger warning. If you are easily triggered by anything, I'm not even going to say the word until this trigger warning is done, skip this next bit, because Matt Rife has entered the conversation. Matt Rife has started shooting his mouth off. In all honesty, I don't like Matt Rife's comedy. I've tried to watch it, I'm like, I can't tell if this guy is trying to be funny or if he's just nasty and people think he's trying to be funny. It's not, I can watch really dark comedy, I can watch comedians be really horrible and find it quite funny, but sometimes I get this inkling that that's really them, not an act. And that's the inkling or the thought that I was getting from watching Matt Rife. I've seen a couple of interviews with him and I was like, this guy just loves the smell of his own shit. Not for me. So I get sent this post. So Jennifer J. Lane posts, you do know Ed and Lorraine Warren were proved fakes years ago. And Matt Rife responds with, literally has never been proven because that's a lie, but good job believing anything you read online, retard. And I looked at that and I was like, holy shit, this is like public. This isn't his comedy skit. This isn't his comedy element. This is the real Matt Rife responding to somebody that doesn't believe in the Warrens by calling them a fucking retard. And I'm like, oh, you can't behave like that. Well, you can if you're fucking rich. And if anyone else had said that, if somebody like the size of myself, the side-eye guy, or smaller, or even up to probably 250k, had dropped that word in response to somebody saying, you do realise that's all fake, right? You'd be cancelled immediately. You'd be booted from the platform. And Matt Rife just like, woof, have it. And I'm like, Jesus, how angry have they got to be throwing this cack out? And then somebody called Bianca is like, oh, drop your sauce, drop you. I've never seen a proved theory. Let me help. And Matt Rife, she means Reddit articles and a tweet by morons with zero proof. Oh, Matt Rife. Whilst you may be smart in some aspects, you have come across here as dumb as fuck. Clearly, you know the score with the Warrens. You will know that there are claims against Ed's behaviour, there are claims of fraudulent activity, there are claims of bullshit, but what there is massively lacking in any of this is any proof of Lorraine's psychic abilities or Ed's ability to cleanse houses. There is no proof in any of their cases being real. In fact, there's the exact opposite. So we'll look at some of the things. Bathsheba Sherman. Ed and Lorraine Warren claimed that Bathsheba Sherman was a witch. Not only was she a witch, but she stabbed an infant with a knitting needle and buried it, and she haunts the house as a demonic entity. None of that was true. And for years, that poor woman's headstone was desecrated, smashed up and spray painted and all sorts because of a movie storyline. But that storyline was given the green light by Lorraine. She was a producer of the movie. She was heavily involved in it. You can see interviews with it. She's on the Blu-ray because I love two of the Conjuring movies. The Annabelle doll. Nobody has ever found any proof of somebody dying in a motorcycle accident leaving that property ever. There is zero proof out there for it. it looks, to all intents and purposes, to be a fabrication made up by the Warrens. So we look at the Amityville haunting, where George Lutz basically admitted, years after, that the entire thing was made up for financial gain. They bought a house that was too big, they couldn't afford it, they invented a horror story. But the Warrens actively supported his false claims, pushed them. And let's not forget that the Ghost Boy photograph, one of the most famous photographs from Amityville, something that I believed for years and years and years, until Kenny Biddle showed us, it's quite possibly one of the Warrens' entourage wearing the same shirt and the reflection being his glasses. Did he know he was caught on camera? Kenny doesn't say he knew what he was doing. I think he purposely scooched down and did something with his glasses to reflect that light to look demonic. The Enfield poltergeist. There's this whole thing that Ed and Lorraine Warren were superheroes that flew to the UK to rescue this family, and that's not what happened. They went there, they stayed for the minimal amount of time and left. They didn't do anything, they had no part in it. Yet that warranted a full movie of them battling a demonic nun in a bedroom, Ed getting thrown out of a window onto a tree, and ridiculous. Then the Annie Johnson case. Ed and Lorraine Warren tried to get him off with a murder because the devil made him do it. He was just a drunk in a jealous rage, and he killed someone. And the Warrens tried to get him off. They also investigated a werewolf claim. That wasn't a guy being a werewolf, that was a guy being mentally ill. So the whole argument of him calling somebody a retard is just like, you seem to be an intelligent man. How can you get so offended by somebody asking the most basic of questions? Or maybe the exclamation mark that it's a fact and not a question is what really peed you off. But I was like, damn, he went hard, publicly, over something quite trivial, really. But this is just after Tony Spearer's rant. This is after Elton. Everybody's looking at Elton like, fuck, the guy's losing his mind. Why is he so aggressive lately? I concur. The guy seems to have lost his damn mind. And so, I did a Facebook post, I fired back, and then numerous people inboxed me and some people commented that some time ago, a channel or a person called Glowing Pains, and this is the trigger warning, do not listen to this bit if you're easily offended or if it'll cause some sort of trauma or replay in your mind. Please skip this section, it's not going to be very long. And Glowing Pains posted, let's see how long it takes for him to delete this. And Matt Rife's response was the following: 101 followers, baby. Time to get my rep up. I'll be able to rape someone and get away with it in no time. Oh, is that Matt Rife thinking he can be a comedian and just say what he would say on stage, on social media, but it's in an argument with somebody public? Oh my god. That's one of the worst takes I have ever seen. And it's like the way he's written it isn't like he's saying that he has, but it's like, when you get into a certain position of power, you can. And it's like, oh my god. What a awful, horrific take. Like, I have seen comedians make grape jokes on stage and stuff, and it really offends people. Really offends people, but at the same point, if you're going to pay to go to a comedy show by an offensive comedian and you get offended, you shouldn't have gone in the first place. I have watched, I like Frankie Boyle's stuff, but he has said things that are really, really offensive. But I understand that it's a comedy show. He said that on a stage to garner laughter or to garner a bit of heat. I understand all of that, and I can understand Matt Rife doing that on stage. He's known for roasting hecklers. I love watching people roast hecklers. But when you're on Instagram or Facebook and you drop something like that, it's like, is that how far detached from society you are? Is this how angry people are getting over the Conjuring House stuff? Because that's what seems to have angered the three of them, Spearer, Rife, and Casties. It seems to be that it's the Conjuring House stuff, because they want that house come hell or high water. I've been following along from day one. I remember the Conjuring stories appearing here and there in articles, because as a kid, I loved everything paranormal. I believed everything paranormal. Then the Conjuring House movie came out, and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. I still think it's one of the best haunted house movies ever made, but I was fully aware it didn't really follow the story that well. because I've read Andrea Perron's books. Now, I will be 100% straight up honest here, and Jason knows my thoughts on it. I don't even think that house is haunted. I've never thought that house is haunted, because I've seen so many people do investigations there and never provide anything to me that says haunted. I think there's something weird could be going on there, much like East Drive, but this is not like it's haunted. It's demonic, it's evil, it's nasty. Now, Andrea Perron's books kind of flip-flop. Sometimes it's kind of dark and nasty, other times it's like really nice. House of Dark, House of Light. So obviously there's the whole thing with the toe tapping and the whole thing with Cody and Satori and Sam and Colby, which I covered extensively. It was one of the things that helped blow my channel up. So I've kind of been invested in the Conjuring House, but from the skeptical point of view, and from particularly a drama point of view, because it's been fantastic for them at my channel. But then when it got to a point of is mental health at play here, especially with the owner Jacqueline Nunez at the time, even though my views were incredible on everything I did with the Conjuring House, I went, I'm stepping out of this. I'm not going to keep pushing this like some who were flip-flopping depending on where the views were bad to the bone. I'm out. I could do without the views if it's going to cause somebody distress and all of that sort of stuff. Then I did a Taps video. That Taps video blew up massively. It's still the biggest video I ever had. Jason got hold of me. Can I do a response? I was like, have at it. You're entitled to that. His response video was fantastic. That in turn blew me up even more. And then me and Jason got talking, and he was like, and we had this sort of neutral thing. And one thing he's never done is judged me for the videos I made about his daughter. He has treated me and that completely separately. I've called his best friend out and his daughter out, or his ex-best friend, whatever that is. He's been nothing but kind to me. Not because he can grow from me, not because he can gain anything from me. It's Jason fucking Hawes. He's royalty in the paranormal. The guy's massive. We did a live stream on my channel, the biggest live stream that I've ever had. Then I see the Andrea Perron plea. Please, Jason, save my childhood home. Stop it falling into the wrong hands. And I can see exactly where she was coming from, because it would have turned into what it already was under Jacqueline Nunez. It would have turned into a spectacle. It had turned into nonsense and ridiculous people doing ridiculous things there and then ruining what she thinks has already been ruined by the movies. The whole GoFundMe, the Save the Conjuring House thing comes out, and then, Jesus, somebody bought the debt. Everyone looked at Casties and Rife and went, I bet it's them pair. Casties went, oh, not me, nothing to do with me. I've got no intent, no, nothing to do with me at all. And through the months and courts and paperwork and trails, it turns out it was him. Then there was rumours of them sending an employee or a friend to go and strong-arm people, and here's $1 million in cash, let us have the house. Then the sister randomly turns up, the estranged sister, like, I'm concerned about her mental health at this point. Not before, when she was getting done for drink driving. Not before, when she was clearly hallucinating a guy with hair being Jason Hawes. When she was telling people the ghosts were telling her to fire staff, she never stepped in through any of that. But when that house sale was coming up and Elton and Matt started losing a bit of ground, ta-da! Caring sister appears. What an absolute shit show. And all through that, me and Elton didn't talk for months. And then suddenly, J-Cats puts out a video and Elton drops my name in emails. Like, I've spoken to Beardo like 16 times, and I'm like, why the fuck has he brought me into this? I've not leaked any emails or read any. I can now, because I'm pretty sure he's only said to J-Cats, I've spoken to Beardo like 16 times. I'm sure that he only said that to cause a rift there, because he knows me and J-Cats support each other. What a bizarre play for him to make. This guy has millions of subscribers and he's worried about me and J-Cats. Sending me cropped images, making out that I've said all this stuff about Jason that I haven't. Obviously, as soon as he sent this, I sent it to Jason, like, just so you're aware, before somebody posts this, that was not me. This is the original comment. And he was like, bro, I know you wouldn't say something like that, or if you did, you'd say it directly to me, which I would. Then there's the whole, they bought the debt, and now they, from the outside looking in, they're seemingly just strong-arming or holding back on things to make sure that Jason either gives up or runs out of steam. And I'm telling you now, Matt, Elton, he'll never give up. You'll never just push him out or hold back giving figures and sums long enough for him to go, oh, do you know what, it's just easier if I walk away. He'll never give up on it. He'll try his best. Come, whether he wins or loses, he's not giving up. And genuinely, I hope that that man wins it. A, the plea from Andrea Perron. B, the place not becoming an overpriced sanctuary for idiots with REM pods. Now, idiots with REM pods can go there, but it'll be affordable. It'll be affordable to everyone, from what Jason has said. Now, Jason has asked for my input, not into buying it, not into going at Elton and all the rest of it, but he's like, if I was to get the house, I'm looking at what I can do this and do this, and he's looking at costing, and I'm like, I'm the wrong guy to ask. I'm not that astute a businessman. In fact, my maths absolutely sucks. But let's not go down the route of it's $1,000 a night for one person or 10 people. Let's not go down the route of 2,000. What I'm trying to say is, without giving anything away, that if Jason Halls wins the house, he is genuinely like, how the hell do I keep the costs of all of this down as low as I can, so as many people as possible that want to go can go there? That's the only bit of behind the scenes info I'll give, because I speak to Jason a lot, but it's private. And this is why I support Jason Halls. I remember when that house was first announced to be going up for sale, I remember talking to Jason and I was like, so you buying it? And he went, absolutely fucking not. I don't want it. I don't want another haunted property. Been there, done that. Then obviously the Andrea Perron plea came out and Jason was like, shit, I'm going to have to now. And what he started was this massive community movement. And the biggest reason that I support it isn't because it's Jason Hawes, isn't because I think it's haunted, because I fucking really doubt that it is. And it isn't because I don't like Casties and Rife. And it isn't because of Andrea Perron's plea. The biggest reason I support the Conjuring House and Jason buying the Conjuring House, and the reason I wear this, and I've got t-shirts and stuff to support the Conjuring House, and the reason I bring it up at events that I've started doing, the reason I do all of that has got nothing to do with all those things I've just mentioned. It's because that's what the paranormal community wanted. Now, people will say Elton is in the paranormal community. I think he's in the entertainment community masquerading as paranormal. It's just my thoughts on it. But the paranormal community at large have come together, even people that don't believe in the house like me, and donated to that cause. Because for me, that's what the paranormal community wants. They want the house to not be taken over by a fake ghost hunter, a celebrity comedian, and then the prices just get hiked up and it be turned into an absolute shit show, and then stories get added to it, like what's getting added to the Warrens' house, because the Warrens' house was never reported to be haunted. Ever. Now suddenly it's haunted, and people are trying to push the narrative of it's Ed and Lorraine haunting it, and if you believe Ed and Lorraine Warren, they were good Catholic people, why would they be haunting it? They would be up there. If you believe what I believe to be truth, they'd be down there for scamming, and Ed specifically for the babysitter shit. Why would they be haunting that house? They loved that house. Not only did they love that house, but the house was blessed by priests to make the house safe. The shed full of crap, different story if you believe that, but I don't believe anything the Warrens have ever done or said. I would not investigate the Warrens' house. Even if Elton Casties reached out to me and said, you can come and investigate this house for free and I'll pay for your flights, I still wouldn't do it. Because I don't believe it. I don't believe in it. If, however, Elton was to say to me, tell you what, I'll fly you out and you can take Annabelle out of the hutch, then I would go. Because I would like nothing better, and I've said this a few times, I would like nothing better to go up to that hutch, click the little latch that's not locking it, open it up, grab that little bitch by the neck, give the doll a shake, and be like, yo bitch, give it a little lick, punch her in the head a few times, chuck it on the floor, stamp all over it, be like, what are you gonna do? A, it'd be fucking comedy gold for content. B, if I actually died while leaving the property, I have just proved that that doll is haunted. Rife and Casties and the Warrens win. They are clear of everything. Ish. But I've proved the paranormal. I've proved in a demonic entity attached to a doll. I've won. I've died, or I've won. They've won. If, however, I live a long, happy, healthy life, well, I've won. I've proved that doll was full of shit. It's nothing but cloth, dust, and I imagine Ed Spunk, because I'm sure he was porking it at some point because he's a pervert. I can't leave that in. Can I? It's just cloth as far as I'm concerned. And I would win that way. Finally just debunk the doll because I've disrespected it, I've slapped it around, I've licked it and thrown it on the floor and all that nonsense that got me into trouble a year and a half ago. But that's what I do. Elton Cassidy's personality seems to have gone through a transformation since this entire thing with the Conjuring House sale has started. He's become far more aggressive, far more whiny, and it's just like, the fuck happened to this guy? Now, I've never been the biggest Overnight fan, I've never been the biggest Elton fan, but he always seemed like quite joyous and happy and stuff. And then I'm looking now and I was like, you just seem perpetually angry. Just really angry at everyone and everything. And then I look at Rife and I'm like, right, the guy's a dickhead on stage, but now that's bleeding through into his social medias everywhere. Has he always been like that? Potentially. Are we just being a little overcritical because of the Conjuring House stuff? Potentially. But it just seems that both of them are just slowly becoming unravelled and unhinged because they can't get their own way. This is what happens when you don't tell your kids no. If your kids never hear the word no, this is what they'll become in the future. Horrible people saying horrible things with underhanded threats and cropping shit to make people look bad. So this has gone on for some time, but I've wanted to get this off my chest for a long time because I didn't trust Elton, and then I was like, right, I'm just going to ask him. The doors seemed to be open for me to talk to him. I'm going to ask him. And he seemed to be giving me good advice. He seemed to genuinely show a bit of concern that his name was being thrown around. And then after the fact, I'm like, he could have just been saying all that to keep me off his back, to stop me making a video like this, because I just can't trust him. Can't trust him. I can't trust Spira. I can't trust the Chud and all of those other people. I certainly can't trust that nonce that threatened me a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to release satellite images of your house. I'm going to do another video on that fucking prick. You know the guy. Threatened to shoot people's dogs and all sorts. Yeah, that guy turned up on my Facebook comments like, I know where you live. I can release satellite imagery unless you shut the fuck up. Release the satellite imagery, you nonce, because I'll sue the ass off you. So, do please let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know if you got to that part of the video where I just told a nonce to come at me. Much love to you all. Beardo out.